Okay, Michael, we are live on YouTube and you may begin whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's full design review board meeting for September 16th, 2025. I call us to order. We have a quorum of six out of our eight members. Well, I guess nine members, but one is on maternity leave. Um, I have no opening remarks. Do I hear a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
There's a motion by Emily. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Mike. He just beat Samantha. All in approval, say aye.
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 Any against? All right, motion passes 6-0. I'm looking to approve last meeting minutes. Staff, which ones do we need to approve?
August 19th, August 26th, September 2nd, and September 9th.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve August 19th, August 26th, September 2nd, and September 9th meeting minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mike. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, motion passes 6-0. All right, so moving into, I don't have any I'm looking for any general member comments. Anybody who, it's a public meeting, if you have anything not relating to an application tonight and would like to state something, please raise your hand. If not, we will jump into our agenda. All right, I'm not seeing anybody. So application F is up first, 2452 Freetown Drive. This is an appeal. Um, we are looking for a misapplied guideline or any new information. Um, I believe it was me on this panel. Emily was substituting on this panel. So that leaves us four members, staff.
For application F, this was
That was me on F.
you and Brian.
Oh, just kidding. It was me and Brian on this one, not Emily. Okay. The next one is Emily and I. Okay. So we have four. Tony, I always forget. Are we okay or we're not okay, right? Don't we need five?
Cam, how many total seats do we have now?
We have technically eight, but Camellia is on maternity leave, so there's quorum, but so long as the four vote in a way that would make sense, there should be enough votes.
Okay, cool. I'm cool with it.
Okay, 4 of 8. Okay. All right. So is the appellant here?
Yes, we're here.
Great. So please walk us through your appeal. You need to prove either new information or a misapplied guideline. And then once again, myself and Brian will not be able to vote on the appeal because we were a part of the panel who made the decision. So take it away.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not sure that there's a misapplied guideline, but the new information is that the style of fence that we would propose having built at our place is we believe consistent with another fence already existing here in the neighborhood. That is 2464 Freetown Drive. That has an existing paddock style fence with 3 flat boards, not the split rail style fence. And so I believe that would be the main new information that was not present for the initial application. So yeah, that I think that would be it.
Okay.
The
You want to add anything else? We can go around the room and see if anyone has any questions for you.
the adherence to guidelines is not.
So I'll start, I guess, the newest member here.
Sure.
Could you please walk me through what it is, through your application, what it is that you're seeking and what is not matching the guideline and how that
So
differs for
Gazde, hold on. So since this is an appeal, Gazde, we don't, so what has to happen first before we review the application, since we've already reviewed it, they have to either prove that there's new information, or there's a misapplied guideline before we can't technically talk about the application itself. So the usually what we do is we go around, we'll see if anyone has any questions for them, and you guys kind of ask Brian and I questions of like, was this new information? Was it not? Did we have that when we made the decision? And then we decide whether we can accept the appeal. And then if we accept the appeal, then we would review the application de novo, which is then where they would, present the design of the fence that they're trying to achieve, the location of the fence, et cetera. So at this time, we're looking for, it sounds like they're stating there's new information of this 2464 Freetown Drive that has an existing paddock style fence, which is similar to the design that they were proposing, but not the exact same. So does anybody have any questions for the appellant that is in reference to the appeal? I'll
I
just
have
ask
a
Samantha, do you have
question.
any questions?
Uh, I I do not have a question, but I want to summarize what we hear so far. So the new information the applicant presented today is he stated 33 houses of 47 in the neighborhood has a fence extended to the front corner. That's one exhibit 1, and exhibit 2 is one house has a similar fence as he proposed throughout this neighborhood, but it's similar, not exactly identical. However, the second exhibit is he already bring to board at last meeting.
Say that last part one more time.
Samantha, they did already present this information to us at the last full panel, but we could not vote on it because we did not have enough members to overturn an appeal at that time. So we have heard this information before, but we have not been able to vote on it.
And so I think
Okay.
the question that I would have for staff is for 2464 that has a paddock style fence. Was there any sort of verification that there was an existing approval on that?
So yes, we provided that to the DRB in the doc. And if I recall correctly, that decision was very specific to ensure that the proposed fence style that is before you tonight in the appeal would not be approved in that prior approval. So the style that was approved that's there now in that house that the appellant is referring to was approved, but it was very specific to that style fence.
Do we have that approval in our docs?
Yes, it's in the doc for this evening's meeting. And there's a picture example and an excerpt from the decision.
Maybe I downloaded this earlier. What slide is it on? Do you guys
It's
know?
not in the application, it's in the doc for the DRB.
Oh. Well,
there you go.
I can't vote on the appeal anyway, so it doesn't matter that I didn't see it, but I'm gonna go find it.
So my question is so if I'm understanding correctly, 2464 has a 4-board paddock style fence that has been painted or stained some dark color. We don't have no photos of this. I pulled it up on Google Earth, so I'm, doing a little bit of snooping here. But that's a 4-board paddock fence. Is that correct?
I'm sorry,
That question was for the applicant, correct?
Yes, is that a 4-board paddock fence or a 3-board paddock fence?
I'm not sure offhand. I would have to, I think do the same thing that you're doing, which is looking at Google Maps or something like that.
Okay.
The decision, Emily, has it as a 3-board, 3-rail, 48-inch in height fence.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay. So I'm just a little confused because I'm looking at our doc, and on page 3 it says 4-board only, no crossbeam feature. So that's where I'm getting confused. So we have not approved a 4-board fence at any point.
That is my understanding.
Cool.
Uh,
And if I recall correctly, the applicant's main driver with wanting to go above a 3-board fence was so that they have a dog that they are worried about getting out with only the 3-foot height.
Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, 4-foot height 3-board fence.
So, Emily, I just want to correct you.
Yes.
4 boards were approved. The cross was not.
Oh, so the 4-board style has been approved,
So,
but and it can go up to 60 inches.
no.
Oh,
So I just want to make sure the style of fence is being proposed by the applicant was not approved at the house that they are referencing.
correct.
The cross box or the cross was not approved in that application, but the 4 panels were.
So
And
you're
it's
just
48-inch tall,
Correct.
not 60-inch tall.
Correct.
I see. So we said you could do your 4 boards, but they'd have to be 12 inches on center, not,
That is correct.
right. Okay. Okay. All of that makes sense to me now. That answers the questions that I have. I will stop talking and leave room for other people.
Okay. Mike, do you have any questions?
Not for the applicant, sir.
Okay. Gazde, do you have any questions for the applicant or for the appellant?
No, I understand. I looked at the doc as well.
So Heather hasn't joined us, right? I don't think so. I want to make sure I don't skip her.
I think she has.
Heather has joined.
Oh, okay, great. So Heather, this is an appeal. Welcome to your first DRB meeting. We are determining whether is there new information being presented about 2464, basically Freetown Drive. They're saying that they have an existing paddock style fence, which is similar to theirs, which Brian and I did not know about when we made the decision. Because correct, staff, you didn't have that information at that time, correct? I don't remember seeing that in our document back on the original decision date. But I honestly don't remember.
That is correct. The homeowner did not provide that as the example for the approval until after it was denied.
Okay, all right. So do you have any questions for the appellant? And then we'll have some discussion. If you don't have any questions at this time, it's okay.
Actually, I have a question. Can I ask
Yeah, you can jump back in.
So this may be to you, or to Cam. The reason we're not, there's an X pattern on the top is for decorative purposes only. Is that what is proposed for, or is that serving a purpose for this dog jumping over the fence or some other situation?
Is that for us?
I'm not sure if that was asked to you before. I'm new member in this board, so I guess if I repeat their questions previously, I apologize. But my question is, what is the purpose of the X on the top of this fence? Is it decorative purposes for you, or does it serve a purpose with your dog that I don't understand?
No, it would just be decorative purpose.
Decorative, okay.
So Heather, I don't know if you're off mute. Let's see where she is.
Questions right now. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's have some discussion on it. So Brian, I mean, I won't speak for Brian. Yes, we did not know about this property beforehand. So whether, is it new information, then technically, yes. Is it relevant information is, I guess, is it relevant new information? Is that the question for you guys to decide? Do you guys have any thoughts? Anyone might comment? I know, Mike, you said you had some comments, I think, maybe.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. Michael, sorry, I apologize. Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely certain that it makes a difference in where I would shake out on the overall application. The concept of it being new information, I hear you. I don't know that it changes my opinion on the matter. So, I mean, that's kind of where I shake out. I'm not sure if any of the other board members feel differently on the matter, but again, hearing you say it was something that had not been presented to you, I hear you. But obviously, I don't know that it's going to make a material change in any way that we would act upon it, or at the very least, the way I would feel about it. So, back to you there, sir.
Okay. Or Samantha, do you have any thoughts, comments?
I do not have any more thought. I echo what Mike B says. I agree. This is a new information. So is that relevant?
Okay. Emily?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think I concur that it's new information, but I'm not sure that it's relevant to the overall outcome of the application. And I have a question for staff, but I think it's not going to matter until we take a vote.
Okay. Well, before we can take a vote, someone has to make a motion. So
I suppose I'll make a motion to accept the appeal on the grounds that there is new information being presented.
okay, there's a motion to accept.
I'll
Do I
second.
hear a second? Second by Emily. All right, so all those in favor, do you want to have any further discussion on did you want to ask your question, Emily, or no?
We'll get into it when
Okay. Okay. So Brian and I cannot vote. So I'm just going to go do a roll call vote. Samantha, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gazde?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Okay. And then Brian and I abstain. So appeal is accepted 502, which gives enough votes for a quorum. So we're good. So now we need to review the application de novo. Do you, Miles or Richard, do you guys want to take a sec to explain your application again? We do have two new members. Obviously, everyone else has not seen this except Brian and I. So if you could walk us through your application, the style of fence you're proposing, obviously we kind of know about, but I would still explain it. And then specifically where you're putting the fence, I think is also important in the conversation as well. I think he may have muted himself, so you guys may need to unmute him.
We could ask to unmute.
I'm asking him to unmute now. Miles, I'm sending you a prompt to unmute.
There you go. Miles, you there?
Yes, we're here.
All right. So we have accepted the appeal, so you guys can present brand new, like we never made a decision.
Okay. So we would propose installing a 60-inch wood fence. The fence style that we had selected is sort of the estate style, which is similar to a paddock style fence. It's 1 by 6 inch horizontal boards, evenly spaced, with a cross at top for decorative effect. We would propose the fence to follow the property line from the side of the house to the back property line, or thereabouts, across to the other property line, back up to the mid side of the house, and then connecting at the house. We had originally proposed 3 gates. one on the north side, one on the south side, and then one to the back of the property. Though if that's an issue, obviously we're willing to change that. And then just to confirm, the fence does not interfere with any of the existing vegetation or trees. The wood would be pressure treated or red cedar, depending on availability at the time that the project started. And we would not propose having any lighting, decorative lighting added to the house or added to the fence. Let's see, what else would be relevant? I think that's the main element of the fence itself. I will say we did do, as you saw in the appeal, we did sort of do a survey of the existing properties and note that the majority of the fences come to the mid side of the house or to the front of the house versus ending at the back of the house as laid out in the guidelines. And then for most of the houses, the fence appears to extend to the back property line or within 6 inches of that back property line, something very, very close to that back property.
And is this fence have any, I can't remember, does this fence have any sort of wire mesh installed on the backside of it?
No, one of the reasons we wanted to go with this style of fence versus the split rail was to avoid having the black wire, which we felt is unattractive on the houses where that is in place.
Okay, thank you. Let me go around and see if anyone has any questions, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Michael.
Or Steph, there was an affected party, I remember. Are they
We
still ready?
do have an affected party, and it's RA and also Susan, and both are.
That's right. So let's hear from the affected parties first, or pull up their statements, and then we'll go around and ask questions. So is the affected party the neighbor here?
Yes, Susan is here and she is unmuted.
All right, Susan. As an affected party, you have 3 minutes to state your case. Obviously, we have your statement as well. But if there's anything, you can either read your statement or you can.
Okay, I should start. All right. My statement is that I purchased my 1974 home 13 years ago, which has an original side patio located directly on the shared property line with 2452. My typical patio is 9 feet deep and approximately 10 feet from the 2452 house side wall. The space has remained a clear space for 50 years through many ownerships out of respect for the close proximity of the two homes and the impact to my side patio on the property line. The patio is also my lower entrance to the TV room and is much used until this year for personal endeavors. When the new neighbors proposed a dog fence, I had expected the fence to end at the rear corner of their house, following the DRB guideline, which is approximately 13 feet away from my patio and lower entrance and family room. Unfortunately, the new owners plan to install their dog fence forward of the corner, ending approximately 6 feet from my patio and my entrance in a 50-year open space that's existed between the houses through many ownerships. The location is unacceptable due to the potential disruptions to my decade-long use of my patio, my much-used entrance, and peaceful use of my TV family room right there near that dog fence. 3 days after the owner's application submittal, I spoke of my concern to the owner, showed him the guideline, expressed my preference for the DRB location at the rear corner of their house, but he wanted to keep the midway section regardless of its impact to my home. As a partial owner of the property line, I object to the 2452 proposed ending location, which is about 6 feet away from my private patio entrance and family room watching. I request the DRB to relocate to the rear corner of the house, which is 13 feet away, and follow the DRB guideline. This location not only preserves the private use of my patio and entry to my lower entrance and family room without dog interruptions or barking that's existed for the last 50 years in this single-family neighborhood. That's my comment.
Thank you. And can I ask you one question before you
Yes.
go? Do you have any objection to the fence along the property line for the rest of the property?
I do
toward the
not, as long as it ends at that corner by their own private property, their own private patio. I have no objection to their fence. I never did. I do object to the location where there's a gate entry out, in and out, 6 feet from my patio and my private spaces. I totally object.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Resident Association, Cam, LaShonda, one of you?
Yes, Cam, do you want to read it or do you want me to read it? I can read it.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So it's Cam Adams, the Director of Covenants Administration on behalf of the Resident Association Board of Directors. This would be a new style and height introduction to the neighborhood and not consistent with any other existing fence style. If the DRB determines this ornamental fence design is acceptable, staff will make note and be consistent in future reviews for similar requests. Per the design guideline, maximum sizes for fences is 48 inches. The proposed fence requests 60 inches on all 3 sides. Additionally, the owner has not indicated how far from the property line the fence will be installed. If the rear gate is approved, the rear portion of the fence should be set back a minimum of 4 feet so as to ensure there is no encroachments issues with access, as RA common property abuts the fence. So if staff could go to, I think, page 15 or 16, where there is a plat that indicates where the fence is. That rear lot portion of the fence is adjacent to Resident Association property. Resident Association property generally does not provide installation of fences up against the property line for access issues and easements. So the DRB should make note of that as they review this application. In addition, as the staff has already provided, the proposed fence style is not consistent with the fence style that was referenced in the prior appeal that was submitted, or the appeal that's being submitted, the appeal that has been submitted. And therefore, the DRB should be cognizant of the fact that any approval of that fence style would be setting a precedent for this neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Cam. All right, so let me go around the room and see if anyone has any questions for the applicant. And then if not, then we'll have some discussion, okay? Samantha, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I do not.
Okay, Emily?
I have questions. So I guess my first one is, and I vaguely remember us talking about this last time, but the reason that we are not doing a regular privacy screening fence that could go from 5 foot 6 inches to 6 feet is for keeping the view shed open, or
Yeah, there's no visual or acoustical intrusion to allow that sort of fence for this property. I mean, on the other side of the road, they back up to Reston Parkway, so homes over there will have it, but
there's a lot of homes in that
Yeah.
neighborhood that have privacy fences on both sides of the street. I think that has been a,
yeah, but what's tricky is you don't know if those have been approved or not. I mean, we could ask for a full survey of, what's been approved. I guarantee you 50% of those fences have not had applications, if I had to guess. So I don't like using, I like that we have an application that's a paddock style fence that is existing. But I don't feel that this property would be open for a privacy fence. To me, there's no reason for a privacy fence in this property.
Michael, I am aware that 2448 Freetown Drive does have an approved privacy fence on their back, in their backyard, which is 6 inches from the RA property line. and that is a privacy style fence.
And that was approved.
But they have a pool.
They do have a pool, correct?
Right. So that's why that's an exception in our guidelines for that type of fence. So that's my point, is that there's you can't just go down the street and look and see different things, because the problem is that we don't ever know if they have approval, and B, you don't know why necessarily unless we do a full kind of reconnaissance of everything in the area. I would say, Emily, for the sake of the 5 foot, I personally, our guidelines give us a little bit of leeway when they submit it. I think the biggest issue I had with this application was the neighbor with the affected party, with the shared lot line being an issue, and the rear setback. I mean, the design of the fence, I think Brian had more of an issue with the design of the fence than I did. But overall, I am indifferent on the fence design at the moment. I'm more worried about the location of it personally.
We'd be willing to, we have no concerns moving the, whichever side that is, and I'm not but back to the back corner. So we're willing to make that change to the design.
Okay. Let me see if anyone else has any questions. Brian, do you have any questions?
No questions.
And Emily, if you still have more questions, I'm sorry. Do you have anything else to finish?
Well, my second question was, what does the applicant have an issue with moving the corner? That sounds like that got answered. And then it's really just a thought, but I know that the more horizontal style of like the horizontal board fencing that is 6 feet tall, we have approved applications. We're not necessarily saying in this neighborhood, but that style of just straight horizontal boards, because I think I'm in agreement. I don't mind the height of the fence going up to 5 feet. I am not a big fan of the X's. It's that reads very horse country to me, and there's not exactly equestrians going through Freetown Drive unless I'm mistaken. But those are really my only thoughts. I think that we've been approving more modern horizontal style fencing recently, and so this could either be considered a hybrid of that, or we could just kind of make a push, because if it's more open, then it's not necessarily privacy screening. But
okay. Mike?
Mike has no other questions. I share all the sentiments you brought up there, Mr. Wood.
Gazde?
I completely agree with Emily. I think I don't have any issues. Regarding the neighbor, I'm sorry, back up a little bit. Regarding the neighbor's comments, I think I would be willing to, approve a 5-foot fence if it's pushed back, and not interfering with the neighbors, and creating this problem for them as well. I'm open to the 5-foot fence, 60 inches fence, just not the X style.
Okay. Heather?
No questions. Thank you.
So for discussion,
Michael.
Yep. Did I skip you, Samantha? I'm sorry.
No, you already go through me. I didn't speak on that, but there's a discussion going on, so
Yeah.
I
Jump in there.
right, thank you. I do have a issue with making the fence 4 feet tall to 5 feet tall, because our eye level is 5 feet tall at the average. So a 4 feet fence and 5 feet fence is a very different feeling for the neighborhood. Since we have not, since the guideline is 4 feet, I would recommend that we not making exception on that part. So I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. So what's tricky is, I know I've approved 5-foot fences in the past, but they have there was unique situations with dogs where people were, very adamant that they needed the taller fence because their dog could jump a 4 foot. But the fence did match exactly the style that was predominantly in the neighborhood, and it strictly was just a foot taller. So that one was like a picket fence. I remember there was one off of Bennington Hollow Lane or Bennington Woods Road or something like that. And I've driven by it now, and it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb like I thought it might from the height. I think if the consistency of the design is similar to the neighborhood, um, I'm not as opposed to the 5 foot height. I do think our guidelines give us, once it goes past the kind of first set of, hey, no application needed, it then opens up where we do have, this ornamental fence section, which then allows, different heights from 5 to 6 feet. I know that's ornamental fencing, I think is really, I don't know if this would qualify as an ornamental fence. But that section of our guidelines does allow for heights over 48 inches. So that's just my biggest thing with this application. And you some people have some issues with the X, and I can get behind if we just say the four rail or 4 paddock style fence is what we recommend, but the height is okay, or we come up to some solution. But I really think the location of it is my biggest issue. So does anyone have any thoughts, any other comments?
I still haven't personally an issue with the style of the fence, even if you take the X's out, just doing the flat boards. Just because we have several fence styles in our design guidelines that I think we should be building around. And so I'd rather if we were going to approve new fence styles, I'd rather do it as an addition to the design guidelines rather than on a case by case basis.
Any other thoughts for anybody?
None for me. Michael, a question for you guys. The last time your panel acted on this, was it a denial? Or was it a request for further study in a hope that the application?
It was a disapproval.
Okay.
And I do appreciate the owners, the applicant's willingness to, work on the location of the fence on the side yard to accommodate the neighbor. I do appreciate that. I wouldn't. I mean, we'll see where the discussion goes, but I would encourage them to pursue a revised design style that meets the guidelines.
Yes, I mean, from that standpoint, I'll throw it out there. I'll make a motion to disapprove or deny the application, disapprove the application as submitted.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to have some discussion on it. So I guess the people who are not in favor of the design, and maybe this is more of a question that we would need to open to the applicant to see if they're even willing to have an approval of a different design. Because Cam, you said that a 4 board was approved, but I don't think we ever approved a 4 board.
It was requested, it was approved, but the homeowner, the appellant quoted has a paddock style fence, but is not 4 boards. They decided to go with the 3 board. So I just want to make sure everyone's clear that what was submitted was a 4 board with a crossbuck as an addition. What was approved was 48 inches, no crossbuck, and they could do up to 4 panels, I believe, sections. And what was installed was a 3 panel paddock style fence.
Oh, you're talking about the other property.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was like, we never gave an approval on this property. Okay. I misunderstood. So you're saying it was a 4 board approved, but then they ended up only installing a 3 board.
That is correct, but it is paddock style.
It is basically it has the flat 1x6 facing.
That is correct.
At your face. That's the technical term. Okay. So there's a motion on the table again, or there's a motion and a second. We're having some discussion on it. I mean, I think your guys' biggest issue is the design of the fence. Is that correct? The design and the height?
Design, height, setback, location. I mean, all the things need to be addressed. This has been discussed around a few times at this point. I would have liked to have seen a revised application with those things in there, knowing that they had been presumably raised in previous discussion. So, I mean, there's enough here.
Well,
We
yeah,
don't
I
need-
mean, we have
Yeah.
it. I mean, well, let's take a vote on it and then we'll see where it goes. Unless anyone else wants to add any further discussion before we vote. All right, I'll do a roll call vote. Samantha, do you vote yes or no?
So yes means agree with Mike.
Yes means you agree. The motion on the table for clarification is a disapproval of the application as submitted. And the applicant is welcome to resubmit, a new design and new location based on our feedback.
My vote is yes.
Okay. Emily?
I have a question before I vote.
Yes.
Can we not just say, hey, we can approve you tonight with the following stipulations if the applicant has already expressed that they're willing to acquiesce to those particular requests?
Well, yes, we could. I think that's where I was trying to ask the question, for the people who have an issue with the design, what then is acceptable? Like, is a four-board paddock style fence at 60 inches acceptable? Or are we going to amend it to be a four-board at 48 inch? Like, to me, at that point, we then are going to we're like picking the design for the applicant versus letting them come back with what they are submitting, right? LaShonda, you have a question?
Just a question about the motion that is currently on the table. Just the disapproval.
Or deny. It's really a denial, not a disapproval.
Okay.
Right, like he's just denying the application as submitted, is what?
That would be correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was recording the votes correctly. Thank you.
So Emily, I think the tricky thing is like, at what point are we, we could pick a style of fence, but they may not actually want that style of fence. I don't know.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Brian?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gazday?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
And I'm gonna vote no. So 5-1-1. So motion passes. Thank you, Miles. We will hopefully see you again. I do think you can submit a new application with some of the feedback that we have.
I just wanted to make sure that the homeowner was aware that the application can't be resubmitted. It has to be substantially different than what was submitted prior with this decision.
Okay. All right. Next appeal is 2335 Soapstone Drive. This one, I was on the panel and Emily was on the panel. Is Yenny here?
I
Once
believe the
again-
representative or the owner of the property is here and unmuted.
Once again, for an appeal, you need to either prove a misapplied guideline or a new information. Is somebody here for them? I see them. They're there.
Hi, yes, I'm here. I'm Kim. I'm the owner of the Clear Coffee and Sandwich. I don't know whether it's a misapplied or not, but we had I want to talk about the two things on here today. So number one is the shed roof. I know that Michael, you asked me to remove the shed roof, but shed roof was initially has been constructed by the suggestion of the Colonial Works folks, who is directly affected the party because they brought the noise concern on the February when we had a DRB meeting. So after that, I got the decision letter on February 28th. but it was there to install shed roof. And it has been already installed. And when we had the recent meeting on the August 12th, and that you asked us to remove the roof. By that time, the Colonial Works folks was not in the meeting. And then the removal, the roof creates another construction cost. So I'm concerned about that part. And then number two is the extended fence closure requirement. Because initially the two walk-in cooler and the freezer was not included to have the fence. They only request us to have the fence for mechanical unit and door, and that's it. But after the meeting and when I received the DRB decision letter, it was literally says that two walk-in cooler and freezer also have the fence as well. So when we have the meeting, we didn't have any discussion about that one, but it shows that one, so that's why I just still want this two walk-in cooler and the fridge should be excluded from the fence enclosure requirement. That's why I'm here for the appeal.
Okay. So, staff, you're showing something because this is something that actually is I'm now slightly confused at because maybe we didn't even realize it when we reviewed it. But the original approval included screening around the walk-in cooler. That's what you're showing us, correct?
That is correct.
And then when they brought the new updated design, they removed that portion of the screening. And I don't even know if Emily or I even realized that.
I believe that's correct because they found out that the county, and please correct me if I'm wrong, coffee shop, but I understood the county said that that was not a possibility.
Yeah, correct.
The county said you can't put a fence, or why did they say you can't put a fence around the enclosure?
I have no idea, but my architect, they checked with the county and then they said no fence around the walk-in cooler and the freezer. That's why we have to remove the fence.
Huh.
So only the fence for the mechanical unit.
So what is built right now? Obviously the walk-in coolers are in, right? Obviously you're up and operating. The shed roofs are in. Is that
Yes,
correct? From the previous approval?
Yeah, it's been already constructed.
And then just supporting the shed roofs are some 4x4 posts, but there's no actual screening yet installed
No, not
around the
yet.
perimeter. Okay.
Correct, not yet. Only the pole and the shed roof has been, built.
Okay, great. Okay, let me go around the room, see if anyone has any questions for you, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Yes.
Samantha, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Emily, let's skip you for now. Brian, do you have any questions?
Isn't the appeal also including the siding? Excuse me, or it's not just the roof, it's also the fencing, correct?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? I'm not sure I understand it fully yet. What are you appealing regarding the fencing?
Oh, the fencing, the appealing is it should, because of the DRB decision letter, the fence should be include all the walk-in and cooler. Even the Fax County we should not to have the cover the walk-in cooler and freezer. So that's why that I want to correct the DRB decision letter, showing that the include all the fence area until the walk-in cooler and freezer. That's it.
So Brian, just procedurally, she's not actually appealing the fence because the appeal time has exceeded. She's basically asking for a different approval for her project.
So wait a second. So it's not an appeal? Is this a new application or an appeal?
So we need to separate the fence details and the roof details. So the roof details are separate. She's already got an approval from February 28th for what the DRB approved. She resubmitted an application to modify the fence details related to her approval. The DRB approved those things, but stipulated that she had to remove the roof, even though the original approval in February said that she had to have a roof.
Correct.
So in addition to the roof being the issue, she also now has to come back for a different approval for the fencing because she can't do the fencing. So she's not appealing the fencing. The fencing has already been approved. She can't appeal the fencing. What she's asking for is a different approval so that she can move forward with her project. Hopefully that is not as
Well,
complicated as
but so for the appeal to go forward though, specifically like the appeal application that I'm looking at is to retain the already built roof. That's the only appeal that we're reviewing right now. Correct? To the decision that we made on the new screen though, because we said no roof.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Does that make sense, Brian?
Get there. But I guess question for the recent panel, why the change in decision on the roof?
We did not know the roof was already built. But we just removed it because it felt like an unneeded expense that, and design-wise, I don't think it was adding to the project. So what you see here was not what we approved. What we approved was basically a much simpler design, just basically a horizontal 1x6 board fence with an 1.5 inch gap that goes with the dimensions you see, with no roof, right? Just keeping it simple and easy, and then recommended a bush to be planted towards the parking lot side to screen it. I did not know the roof had already been constructed at that time, based on our previous approval. I also didn't realize, though, just being fully transparent, that we removed the screening around the walk-in cooler. I see it now, and maybe I should have noticed it, but I didn't notice that.
Michael, I think the roof had been approved in February, but you couldn't see the roof because of the fencing.
No, yeah, we approved the roof in February. No, I agree. I'm saying the walk-in cooler. I didn't realize in the new application that they were requesting to not screen the walk-in cooler anymore, is what I'm saying. But frankly, I don't, I know we're not supposed to discuss the application. The roof, as long as we take the screen up past the roof, I don't really care. The roof is there.
And Michael, slightly on the other end of things, I knew that the roof was in, but I thought we were removing the roof because if we have a roof and the screening, it won't meet ventilation requirements, which is probably why the walk-in Fairfax won't let us put screening around it, because I think that there will not be enough airflow if we've got a solid, even if there's gaps in between the fence. Like I honestly don't know what will pass inspection if it's got a roof and solid walls, if there won't need to be some kind of ventilation outside of it. So that was my understanding of why we were removing the roof and putting the screening up so that it would, be able to vent.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would have to go back to the meeting minutes and see, like, if the roof was already discussed as already being built, because I did not know it was already built, or else I don't think I would.
Well, and I don't think we discussed it. I just know because I go there a lot.
Oh, you're cheating.
I got to get my fix, guys. My question is does staff have any photos of what is currently there? I think that would be vastly helpful in this conversation. If we had anything aside from these renderings, because, we've been talking about things in, amorphous kind of SketchUp land, and there's an existing structure that's already there. And it might be a little bit easier to workshop things if we had better information.
Staff doesn't have photos of the existing conditions.
Yeah, I think slide 20 is probably the only one that shows kind of roughly the area that we're talking about, um, with a real picture. But obviously doesn't show the walk-in in the back on the back pad there, but you can kind of imagine a big white box back there. So I do think that, you know, once the screening is up on the front area, that you won't even notice that back area, and it's very heavily wooded back there. Um, but I personally think it is new information. I can't vote, so it doesn't matter to me. But I don't remember hearing about the roof. So, Cam, you have something?
You nailed what I was going to say. It's whether or not there's new information or misapplied guideline that's currently on the table.
Agreed. So, let me finish. Guys, do you have any questions for the appellant or me or Emily?
Um, quite a few actually, but it's kind of confusing for me to jump into this with this notion. My major question to you guys is, I guess in the whole semantics of you guys approved no roof, and then someone comes and says, no, no, you gotta have a roof, and they install a roof.
No, no, no. We did approve a roof in February.
Oh, okay.
With a totally different design for the slat. They then came to us 6 months later, let's call it, and asked to have an amended design, which then Emily and myself and the other board member that had filled in, we did not agree with the design. It started feeling like it was like a bathhouse, kind of at the beach.
I'm sorry, but I do have a surveillance camera. So can you see this one? This
Yeah.
one is the current the view of the mechanical unit, and then you can see the top of the roof. It has been built already in the March. So I
Right.
don't
So
know
there was
whether
already
it's
the
included.
approval, guys,
Yeah.
so that's why they built the roof. Like they had the right to build the roof. They had a building permit, they had everything to do it.
Yeah.
It's just that then they were requesting it. And at that time, when they came with the request, I did not know that the roof was built. So that's the reason why we were trying to simplify the design to not overly complicate it. But now they're requesting to keep the roof as part of the design approval, basically.
Yeah, because the roof, the Colonial Works requests us to have the roof because they just talked about the noise and a lot of kind of they concerned about the noise. But even though we do not have that much noise from the mechanical unit, but it's already built. I checked with the GC general contractor and how much we have to pay for the removal. That's very expensive to remove all the things. We have to go through from the scratch. So that's the reason why, if it's okay, I want to keep it and the financial purpose. It's a financial burden. So that regarding the walk-in cooler, so I don't have to worry about that one anymore, even though the DRB decision dated on the August 19, it's the fence enclosure is extended to all the cover to walk-in cooler and freezer. Is it correct?
I don't know yet with the way the letter is worded. I'm not exactly sure because to me the wording actually doesn't specifically call out the correct dimensions for how big those walk-ins are. Cam, do you want to answer that?
No, I don't. I just wanted to remind the merit is whether there's new information sufficient to the DRB to grant the appeal. And if that's what happens, then you can reopen the case and provide a decision to the homeowner that makes sense, or to the applicant that makes sense. But I do want to make sure that there is an affected party online, and I would imagine that person might have some additional detail since it may be his view from his house and his neighborhood that he could probably answer some of those questions. But he can't speak until the DRB makes a decision whether to accept the
Well, but
appeal.
they also he did not appeal the decision, correct?
No, but he is the affected party.
Correct. I know. Yeah. All right. So does anyone have any other thing else to add, want to make a motion about the appeal?
It sounds like some additional, it sounds like you have enough grounds to accept the appeal. I'll make the motion to accept the appeal.
All right. So there's a motion on the table. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right. There's a second by Samantha. All right. Any further discussion on it? Emily and I cannot vote. Samantha, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gazday?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
And then Emily and I abstain. So motion passes 5-0-2. All right, we'll hear the application de novo. So to help expedite it, if the roof is there, I still think our design, I'm fine with keeping the roof on and just doing the same horizontal slats, but that just go up above to cover from seeing the roof. Just like the design was before. It's just now instead of using a composite panel fence, it's using a pressure treated fence. So slide, like if we go back to basically the original February approval, that's essentially what it is. It's just we're now proposing a 1x6 board to be used with 1.5 inch space going horizontally up. So like slide 25, Steph. The only difference is, see how that you can see kind of an X-ray version.
Yeah.
The only difference is that they're removing the screen from around the walk-in cooler due to county restraints, which
So
I'm
I
not
have a
going to argue that
question
one way or the
with
other. but-
this. It was very confusing for me between a couple of different options and to follow through. Now I understand it. And if I can ask the question. So the problem with these mechanical units, as I see at the applicant's phone, the condensing units are outside and they need the top to be, a certain distance from the top to be open air. Okay, somebody requested them to put a roof and okay, now the roof is in. I believe now all the way around it needs to have a certain amount of air calculation. I wonder what the mechanical contractor or someone who can actually calculate this gives the applicant an opinion about to cover it on the top and to cover it on the sides. Because if you just enclose these things, it's not going to function.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to, I mean, I thought what was happening here is when I was looking at this application was that it just has these two buys on the top of it and it's kind of open. It was just there for the structure. So I thought, okay, well, this is kind of an X-ray view and I like this design because it's open on the top and it just bypasses. But now you're saying that you already have a polycarbonate sort of roof that's installed and the neighborhood is across from you is requesting, which I don't think they're very, very close to you, but because I live around the corner. But anyway, there is a roof now that you do not want to remove. However, if you have this slat fencing all around it without any gap or true air circulation, I do worry about your equipment, which is not my worry, but that's basically a part of this design. So
Yeah, we were recommending, what we had in our approval was 1.5 inch space between the slats. Could we increase that to
vertical
2.5
slats?
inches? Sure.
Vertical or horizontal slats, you were saying?
Horizontal slats.
Horizontal slats.
Yeah, which is part of their appeal was referencing vertical, which we did not ever have vertical in our approval.
Oh, yeah, that is my mistake. So horizontal will be fine, but best thing is not to have a fence at all for the air circulation. So the roof is good. That's what I told from the engineer, and the roof is good because if it doesn't have the roof, it creates some kind of the risk of damage because overhanging branch over there and debris directly fall into the mechanical unit. So sometimes it creates the risk of the damage and the shutdown. So the roof is good, but the thing is that the fence in full enclosure is not recommended because the full air condition.
And it's
So-
also, I see it in here, it's also offset from the from the base. I mean, I can't read it, but it seems to me like 7 inches. So that should give you enough air. So what are we looking at now is the horizontal fencing without this wire mesh goes all the way up and bypasses the roof. That's what we're discussing, so that it doesn't look like a shed with a roof. It just looks like a tall fence.
Correct.
Okay, I now understand. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So staff, you said the affected party, since we're reviewing it, are they an affected party on the June application as
Yeah.
well?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's hear from them real quick. I forgot. As an affected party, you have 3 minutes to state your case. Unless you're representing a cluster, then you have 5.
The affected party is an RA Board of Directors member. It's John Farrell, so I believe he has 5 minutes.
No, I'm the president of the cluster association nearby. And we showed up in February, and the June meeting we thought was just to change the nature of the fencing. Can I ask staff to bring up, there is a drawing that shows the proximity of the homes in our cluster to this building. And contrary to earlier statements, we're almost on top of this building. 8 of our cluster houses back up. But most importantly, and you may recall, is those who were on the panel in February, the homes are above this property. And so the whole point of this enclosure was not for aesthetics, because fundamentally you cannot see this elevation from the parking lot. It was for noise mitigation, so that those 8 homeowners don't have to listen to the mechanicals going on and off all night long. And I thought we had a consensus on that. And that's why we were very interested as a cluster in having a roof or some kind of top so that the noise didn't go up and affect our homeowners, the 8 homeowners who look out their back window at the property. We're very excited to have this new owner here. We're very happy with the decision you all made in February. As regards to the enclosure, the fence itself, whether it's horizontal or vertical, Marchnich, whether it's 2 inches apart or an inch and a half apart, whatever enables these people to finish the enclosure. They've been good neighbors, and we just are trying to not mitigate the aesthetics. We really don't care about a bush at the front because you can't really see this elevation. What we really care about is trying to reduce the noise that you can see it in this photograph, those houses there, and there's 4 more that look down the hill onto the property. And we were hoping that we would get the noise mitigation from the enclosure. And that's what drove the design and the decision back in February. So we do want to keep the roof, and we do want to have some kind of fencing, whatever works with the county to mitigate the noise of the mechanicals for people in the middle of the night. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So I think not having a fence, unfortunately, is not. We have to screen these for the location of where they're at. So I'm prepared to make a motion unless anyone else wants to make any other comments.
Michael, can we talk about doing a full green screen instead of doing a physical fence? Because that we can put further away and it will still help with noise mitigation and privacy screening, but we won't have the ventilation concerns. Because if we ask them to build a fence.
To me, no. I mean, to me, we can't build shed roofs on 4x4 posts on our commercial buildings in Reston. It's gonna set a bad precedent. I mean, that's a polycarbonate roof. The whole reason why we ever even approved it was because it was going to be hidden. And so now to me, we cannot leave that exposed. That is my biggest issue. Unless we're going to change the roof material, which then we then turn into then being an issue with, is there a fascia board? Is there is there some sort of detail to kind of make it look nicer? And then all of a sudden it's going to end up costing more, and then they're going to be back and not want to do that either. So, I mean, to me, I think we just keep the 1x6 fence. We'll do a 2.5-inch spacing for airflow that goes up 6 inches above the roof line and call it a day. And be okay with no fencing around the walk-in cooler because it's screened enough by the trees, and it's at the back left of the property, and it's in county is not allowing it anyways, so we can be okay with it exposed. That's my opinion. I just think, and I still frankly do think the bush should stay towards the parking lot, because that's more where the most members are looking at it when they show up to come to the property. So it's kind of my I'm going to turn that last sentence into a motion of an approval with a 1x6 boards at 2.5-inch spacing horizontally, going 6 inches above the existing roof line, on the existing 4x4 posts, with the 2 screens as submitted, with no screen around the walk-in cooler. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Are we worried about how water's going to get off that roof and hit those boards?
Well, I think as long as they need to make sure that the spacing ends right at the top of the roof line and has, that way it'll just feed right over that edge. I mean, before they had some sort of gutter plan for the previous design. I'm not sure where it was, but they had basically, we're just approving the design that we approved in February, but changing the material of the surrounding. I don't know how they had what type of gutter system they had, or if they even had one. I think their plan was just to kind of let it run down and just, go either to the back of the fence or the front of the fence. I'm not really sure. But I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
So there's a motion, second, some discussion. I'll do a roll call vote. Samantha, yay, yes or no?
Yes.
Emily?
Sí, señor. Yes.
Yes. Brian?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gazday?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Yes, for me as well. All right. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. All right. On to application H. Charter Oak Cluster. We got some lights. This is actually a new application, not an appeal.
Yes, Charter Oak Apartment Complex, not cluster.
Or whatever they are. Apartments. Okay. There is a Charter Oak Cluster, isn't there?
Yes, there is a Charter Oak cluster,
Yeah.
but this is
Okay,
for the
so I should
apartment
be
complex.
more correct. All right, so Charter Oak Apartments.
Yes, and the representative for the apartment complex is present. Jessica, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
All right, awesome.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Jessica, welcome. So if you could walk us through your application, walk us through kind of the new lights that you're proposing, the pole heights, any other pertinent information, color, etc. And then we'll go around and ask any questions, okay?
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Brunga, and I am one of the managers for the Charter Oak Apartments with Gates Hudson. We manage this apartment complex, 262 apartments. With that being said, we currently have 63 lamp pole lights. My application is basically to request approval, design of the new lamp poles should an event that a light pole needs to be repaired and or, replaced. Throughout the years since we've managed it, and ownership has had this property since 2018, there has been several repairs that they've done and replacements. And I'm not sure, and I don't think, because I was not managing it at the time, an application was submitted for approval for design. Me knowing that you guys have to approve, the design for the light bulbs, what I want to go ahead and do is basically present you basically the different lamp bulbs that we currently have. Unfortunately, because due to manufacturers and supplies, during COVID at that time too, they had different light bulbs that were installed throughout that period of management time from 2018 up till today. Currently, all light bulbs are working. So my application is basically just requesting if you could approve the existing lamppost. And then along with the application, I've submitted a design of the new lampposts that are that we've received from our electrician that does the replacements of these.
Okay. And you guys own all your lights, correct? Dominion
Correct.
Dominion doesn't own any
Yes.
of them? Okay. All right. Staff, I think there was an registered affected party on this.
There is a registered affected party. In addition to Cam, there's another page for. We could go down a page. Yeah, Randolph Rash, if you're present, you have your registered affected party. I do not see him present. Okay. And then I do believe Cam has a statement as well. You want to go back to that?
Thank you, Julie. So Cam Adams, the Director of Covenants Administration on behalf of Restaurant Association's Board of Directors. I do want to make sure and acknowledge that Jessica has been a great partner through all of this. So thank you, Jessica, for all the work that you've done to come to the DRB and get this approved or reviewed. Restaurant Association most certainly appreciates the application being submitted and the work that the apartment complex has undertaken thus far to comply with RA's governing documents. Historically, site lighting has required a photometric study as well as an implementation plan for lighting replacements, especially when controlled and owned by the property owner. This proposal does lack some helpful details that we think will be better serve the future of the property, as our current understanding is that the apartment complex may sell in the not so distant future. The property owner or management should indicate a plan to address phasing out fixtures that are not of similar design. If the apartment complex is permitted to replace fixtures as they malfunction or broken, then it is possible the current newly replaced fixtures may also be discontinued, thus creating a revolving issue with the lighting replacement. The development of a plan is vital to ensuring consistency and harmony as dedicated and contemplated by the applicable design guideline. I should also mention that the Restaurant Association does request that if the DRB were to approve such an application as submitted, that a key be provided to staff that clearly identifies which light fixtures or poles have been replaced and which remain original. This will ensure that the post-design review inspector team can accurately distinguish between new and existing fixtures during our post-design review inspection process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cam. All right, yeah, this one is unique because each building has a light, which is kind of like more residential kind of design style, but because normally like the apartment buildings usually have more site lighting that is kind of spaced out. But there's like over 60 lights here, correct, Jessica?
I'm gonna ask. Do you want me to ask her to unmute?
Yeah. I'm gonna go around and see if anyone has any questions for her. So
Yes, I put some notes in the comment. Yes. So there are, if you look, Julie, can you scroll down, or LaShonda, on the site map that I have so they can kind of visibly see. So as you can see there throughout the community, we actually walked and noted how many light bulbs are there. And there's about 63. They're all working. And what I did for you guys in an Excel sheet, I basically numbered each of them. And we basically went through the phase of old fixtures, old lamp poles. Those are kind of like existing since we've purchased the property asset in 2018. And anything that says new in that Excel sheet with the numbered are obviously throughout the years been replaced or repaired.
Okay. And staff, do
Hopefully
we
that
have
makes sense.
do we have an original site plan from this property in the file that we have where like to confirm the lighting or no?
Not the original site plan.
I guess my question is like, is the light that we're seeing on page 7, right? Do we even have a record of that's even the approved light for the community?
It was confirmed by the applicant.
I don't know if there's been before.
I guess my
just
question is,
started-
was that replaced in 2000, let's say, and this place was built in the 80s? Like I'm
No,
more
this
asking
is
the
probably
question of
way
how.
before the 2000s for sure. And if you look, if you can scroll down to the number of the poles, I kind of distinguish them. That the bigger, bulkier ones are the older ones. And obviously these are like in the 2000s. Keep scrolling down. Yeah, this is the new one, as you can see. And then I submitted the scope of the new designs of the newest one version. Keep going. There you go. So moving forward, it would be this lamp pole, fixture.
Okay.
And
But so
design.
staff, we don't have any other historical data on this property is basically.
Unfortunately, I do not.
So Michael,
LaShonda, Cam,
we
is
did
that
not,
accurate?
we did not conduct a historical record to see what fixtures were there prior to our inspection. I don't believe that we were able to find anything definitive that indicated, because I think that was, and Jessica, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys asked us what the original fixture was, and I think we reported back that we couldn't identify what it was. So I think that's correct. We did not identify what the original fixture was.
Okay. Yeah. I just was just curious, like maybe at one point they replaced them all without even approvals, and then that's slowly how they've all, became different. But okay. So let me go around the room, see if there's any questions, and then we'll have some discussion. Samantha, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Emily?
Just a quick question. Are all of the, I see a recommended light fixture, but I don't see a recommended like pole, because they do appear to be different widths and heights potentially. Do you have a recommendation on that? Or is that just
Yeah,
information?
it's listed there. It's basically, hold on a second. Scroll down. I should have the height of the pole, recommended pole height 8 to 10 feet. And then if you go back to the picture, scroll up. I'm sorry, guys. Right there, stop right there. The one on the top left, this one, yes, that's basically the pole right there. That's the bar.
Okay,
So, and
we don't
the one
have
on the right, if
specifics
you look
on
at
what
on the
that
right,
is.
if you look at the right picture, that's the full pole and the fixture there, if you can see that.
Right, but for staff to verify things, we don't have like a diameter or style or a manufacturer for the poles that you're planning on replacing.
I can get that for you. It's just the standard 8 to 9 feet, I believe. And it's black, the standard, similar to the original design, black, the color.
That's the only question that I had. I no other thoughts.
Okay. Brian?
Jessica, how many different types of light fixtures are there on site now?
Yeah, if we scroll down to my list, I believe there's 5 different. Scroll down where it's numbered for each pole. I believe I provided that list. Here we go. Okay. So for the new poles, I believe there's 4 different designs throughout. There's like a really small one and some other ones, but the most recent one is that photo that I just pointed the one from this year. So I tried my best with, with all these pole lights to kind of distinguish which ones were really older. And then the much newer ones. As you can see, the much newer ones are much smaller, not as bulky as the older ones.
Yeah, you're saying even in the old poles, sorry, Brian, you're saying even in the old poles, there's multiple versions of an old pole?
There's two, I believe, an old one and a new one. So the old one is a little bit bigger. If you scroll back to the picture, you'll be able to see it. It's more industrial, if that's the best words to say. So if we scroll up one more. One more, sorry. Where's the first photo?
Because Brian,
There we go. There you go. That's the
Yeah,
there you go. That's the one that seems to be the eldest in the hood, in the neighborhood.
I'm trying to get at some notion of consistency throughout the
right.
complex.
That's what I'm trying to ask as well.
So I guess that's where I was concerned, kind of in your statement there, that there's so many different things happening.
Yeah, there's so many different because of throughout the years they've replaced, but moving forward there will be that one design, right?
Okay.
And yeah, unless manufacturer says, this light pole doesn't exist anymore. I think Cam has his hands up.
Thank you, Jessica. Brian, along your thought process, what we would when Reston Association was asking about the fixtures and the key, what we are trying to contemplate is the fixture that's being proposed, I think on page 13 as the new fixture. We'd like to know how many of these 63 are that fixture so that we can contemplate consistency in a replacement schedule.
And I also think one thing that's unique, I think, and I think a more detailed, slightly plan might help this, is it seems like some of these poles were taller because they are almost more like parking lot lighting, and some of them more are pedestrian height lighting, from what I can tell from existing pictures. Like some of these older poles look to be quite tall, maybe even 14 feet, 15 feet tall. Does that sound correct? That some might be more site lighting versus pathway lighting?
I would have to get back to you on that. I believe they're all about the same height when I was out there.
But the existing poles definitely seem to be taller than 8 to 10 feet. But maybe it's just the way the pictures are taken. I don't know. Are the existing poles 8 to 10 feet? Like if we go to slide 7, that looks very tall. Like that one looks like it's 12 feet tall. But I could be wrong.
Remember, there's several feet in ground, underground too. I believe there's like 2 or 1 feet.
Let's not worry about what goes underground, but like what's coming up here, I think there should be some of that we need to think about, because that defers. I mean, the fixture you're picking is not putting out a lot of light. It's only 800 lumens. So I'm not too worried about the light output. I guess the height to me is, I think staff, is that kind of what you need a little bit more information on how, I mean, you guys wouldn't even really know what to check.
Correct. So to properly do a post-design review, we would need specifics on the specs.
Okay.
The other specific that I was interested in would be kind of the color temperature of the bulbs you're using in the lighting fixtures. Just so there's a consistent look throughout the complex. And of course, that's tough to know now. But we don't want to see more kind of yellow lights and on one side than a super bright white light.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot now. So that I don't know if I see that in the application yet. I'd love to.
Yeah, I do know there are LED lights because the guys do their light logs on a daily basis. So that I do know that our maintenance team use LED lights for this.
So that's a good example. It's like in the application, it calls out compact fluorescent bulbs are being used. So like
Yeah, and I can
that
confirm
makes a
that
difference.
for you.
So maybe it sounds like I think we can get close. I think maybe if I'm thinking, I think we just need a little bit more information to make a final determination. I think the final question would be, would you all be like like you see you noted in your report, there's a bunch of poles that are old and peeling, but have new fixtures on them, right? Um, what was the new fixtures, everything in this chart, there's 23 new fixtures on the property, correct?
Yes.
Oh, but there are new poles with the old light fixture still. Interesting.
Yeah, so I can so the whole purpose of the application was to kind of get the ball rolling to approve the design, just because there have been so many inconsistency with the poles, and it is costly to replace all of them. So as one needs to be repaired or so forth replaced, you have the design, and I can go ahead once you guys approve those designs, then we can get them replaced. But I can get you the scope for the poles that you need. Let me know what else is needed for the approval. Right now they're all working. None of them are unoperable. So they're all working fine.
Do you all have a plan or a schedule or timeline for implementation?
We don't have a plan. We usually just repair as need for this, and because it's a safety, a lot, to have lights in the community, they went ahead and replaced it previously. But again, with the materials and different light poles at the time, they had different pole lights and lamps.
Okay. Mike, did you have any questions? Gazde, do you have any questions?
No, but one comment on that compact fluorescent versus LED. So next time, I think if this is being replaced or you have more information, make sure in your standards, what Brian was saying, what color is the light fixture. So make sure they list the Kelvin, of the color temperature, or just say something like whatever the Cree is, or 80, 90.
Okay.
Define something regarding the color temperature of the light fixture. So that if all of them are yellow, then all of them are yellow, all of them are white, they're all white. And then in your standards, that gets recorded that way.
Understood. Thank you.
And I had no comments there, Michael.
Heather, do you have any comments?
Not, thank you.
So my only comments are that I think we need a defined pole height. I think 8 to 10 feet is not a defined pole height. I think you either need to pick 8 or 10. I would say the existing lights look closer to 10 than they do 8. The fixture itself, aesthetically, I'm indifferent to. I don't love it. I don't like the scalloping of it. I think it's a little bit more ornate than it needs to be for the cluster, for the apartments. There's really no ornate details on these clusters, and that selection, in my opinion, does not really go with the structure and the overall architecture. But I don't think it's something I'm willing to care about enough to fight you on it, because there's already so many that are existing. And I think we just need a little bit more info on a site plan perspective. And maybe it doesn't need to be much more detailed than what you have. I think your map is a good start. I just think a little bit more clearer if there's any differing heights. I think it's going to be important, because I do think that there's differing heights throughout the community already, and I could be wrong about that, but I think that is going to be critical, and maybe just blowing up this site plan on page 11 and kind of locating them a little bit more clear. Some of them you know, it'd be nice if you could, even if you took a satellite view or something where we could see sidewalks versus drive aisles versus whatever, to give us just a little bit more information. And then that way,
Okay.
if you guys know you're going to be 10 feet, then we know, okay, it's going to project, based on your report, roughly a 6 to 8 foot circle, I think was roughly what your photometric kind of report was saying, or it was saying 8 to 10 feet height, it would create a 6 to 8 foot ground radius. So like knowing that, we can kind of then make a little bit better idea, because sometimes we'll require like a full photometric plan if you're adding lights, or like most clusters are actually requesting to add lights, not you guys have so many lights. That's why I'm shocked. That's why I was wondering if
Yeah.
there was any approvals, that we had on record, because it's unique to have this many lights on this small of a property, that are not like residential post lights. And so that's where I was kind of asking my questions earlier on. So I think having those information, I think, will help us. So if anyone has anything, wants to make a motion, or else I also can make a motion, based on some of our comments.
Were you thinking about an approval in concept, Michael, pending further study, something like that?
I was just going to defer it.
Okay.
Just to allow. I don't think. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
the lights are existing anyway. It's not like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. So rock and roll. I'm right behind you.
I'll make a motion to defer the application to allow the applicant to provide additional information on a final pole height, a cut sheet on a pole, a more detailed cut sheet on the light that includes the color temperature in Kelvin, as well as an updated, estimated kind of coverage per fixture depending on the height, because I think it is going to change depending between the 8 and 10 footer. I would recommend going towards the 10 footer, and then recommend providing a replacement timeframe schedule, because I do think, I know you guys want to wait till they break, but I think the inconsistency is going. It obviously came about from a complaint, and I think it because there's so many of them and they're so close together, I think that's actually your downfall, because you have so many people can see them right next to each other and are like, so providing a timeline of replacement, I would say, probably a 18-month, 24-month time frame would be a reasonable option to clean up the rest of the poles and lights that have not been replaced. So that's my motion of a deferral with some additional commentary. Do I hear a second?
Mike Beal, second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Looks like
The
the shadow
time frame.
hasn't been raised.
Oh, I was going to say the time frame for the replacement, Michael, just as a point of clarification, that was part of the additional discussion and perhaps a suggestion from the.
It's a suggestion, yeah. I think
yeah.
coming back, I think, well, basically what I'm saying is requiring some sort of phase plan. They may come back and say we need 3 years. They can come back with whatever they want. I was just giving a suggestion of what I think is. I do think a timeline is needed because of the quantity and how close together these lights are. I think,
and the disparate nature of the various items that are out there at this point.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
correct.
I'm with you. Just wanted to clarify what we were chatting about.
Yeah. LaShonda, you have your hand?
Yes, just wondered if a timeline for resubmission of the additional information will be implemented or suggested by the DRB.
Because this is a complaint, we probably would want to see it within 60 days. Mike B, are you good with that?
Okay.
I very much am, sir.
Okay. All right. So there's a motion, a second, some discussion. Anybody else have any other comments? All right. I'll do a roll call vote. Samantha, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Thursday?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
All right. I also vote yes. All right. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
One thought
Oh.
for staff going forward. I don't know if it would be helpful, but either like Jessica, as you're going through this, that they can check either photographs of the lights, so being like light number 1 and just add it to your spreadsheet. Like here's a photo of this light with its height measurement. But I've also seen neighborhoods physically put teeny tiny little stickers like we would label trees and be like, this is lamppost number 1. That way staff has an easy way to be like, oh, this is light 1. It was replaced in 2025, you know, so on and so forth. So I don't think you need to do that as part of the motion, but maybe with your replacement plan, that's something that you bring forward of like, hey, we'll physically number these lights, or we have photos of all of each individual fixture. It might take a couple of hours, but it's easier than, you know, going full tilt on it. That was all. Just wanted to.
So I also want to add to what Michael was saying about the design of the actual fixture. I think what is selected with like rounded edges and a little scallop on top and a little turret on the top of it, you know, it's a little bit too ornate from what it is that you called as a, you know, bulky selection in the beginning, which is probably the original but more simpler one. I was wondering if there is a way to find one that is similar to that one. I mean, I know you have many different styles and you're trying to merge them, but these different styles are not really merging really well, so.
Well, and I think that's, I mean, we've already made a motion and voted, but I do think that's why, because the difference, I think if they all are the same and they go to this version that they've already kind of started with, like I said, it wasn't a battle I was willing to die on tonight for making them replace all, you know, additional 23 in addition to the 40 that are remaining, I guess would be the reason why, you know, would I pick the fixture to go with the architecture? No, but I think, you know, unfortunately, we already kind of made a motion to approve it. So next time, guys, if you do have an issue, say it a little early.
No, mine is what off the record, by the way. I do agree with you. And if there is this opportunity about finding a better cut sheet of a fixture, I mean, instead of an electrician, maybe are there other sources that?
Yeah.
And Michael, as a point of order, it's just been deferred. They could come back.
Oh,
and
that's
say,
true.
hey,
They
Oh,
could
that's
come
true.
back. We're not
That's true.
approving.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
we're just giving
I'm wrong.
suggestions to them
You're
as
right. You're right. I'm
as
wrong.
good work, but you know, could it be a little different or better in
Good point.
that?
I already forgot how I voted. So, yes, I agree with that comment then. You know, I don't think it's a requirement. I just think, you know, I think it could, you know, I personally like the original fixture better, but, you know, they can't get it anymore. So, all right. Sorry, Jessica, for all that extra, but you are good to go.
And I did want to say, while Jessica's still here, Jessica, you can always reach out to us. We're happy to meet. Your advisor is happy to meet on site, talk about any questions that you might have, and get you some better details as to what the DRB is expecting when you come back.
Okay, thank you so much, Cam and LaShonda and everyone. I appreciate you all.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about?
Well, congratulations to Gazday and Heather for your first meeting.
Welcome.
It was a ringer to start with some appeals, but
Thank you.
but yeah, welcome, and hopefully I think LaShonda sent out an invite for our DRB social, which is on the calendar for December, and hopefully everybody can make it, and tell LaShonda if you can or not, and if you're bringing somebody, right? LaShonda,
Yep.
what you need? Okay.
Thank you.
Gazday or Heather, you guys want to say anything, or are you guys good?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Welcome then. All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good
All right.
night.
Have a good night,
Thank you, everybody.
Good night,
Thank you, Cam.
everyone.
Thank you, LaShonda.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Julie.
See you in spooky
Patrick.
season.
Bye, thank
Woo!
you.